G'day everyone, it's Turbo Tristan here. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while, but I have been working. Don't let that fool you that I haven't uploaded a video. I've been working very hard. I've got a half-filmed video on the VL, little issue with that. I've got a half-filmed video of Rhonda peeking out there, and I've got today's episode, which is all about my Enkei Civic. Whoop, don't look over there. We've done some things. Brakes, suspension, new wheels, new tires, heaps of grip. We're getting ready to go to the track. Stay tuned and I will show you what I've been up to. Alrighty, so it has been about 2.5 weeks, maybe longer, since I've done an actual proper video. Since that time, I've had some big fails. 3 sets of wheels, 2 sets of tires, 2 sets of brakes, a master cylinder, some pads. I've put brakes on, I've taken brakes off, I've painted things, I've put all new wheel bearings and knuckles in the car, and I've gone for a 5-stud conversion. I'm gonna jump to some footage that I shot a few weeks ago just in a moment, but before we do, I want to talk a little bit about Spool Up, my website, what I've been doing and how you guys can help me out. So as you guys know, I have a website called spoolup.com.au, and I started that because I didn't want to just sell you guys merch. I wanted to sell you guys stuff you can actually use on the cars that you are building. It is mostly Honda stuff, but there's a bit of VL stuff, some Accord stuff, some Civic stuff, some Integra stuff, all on the website. And I've been helping out quite a lot of guys. I've been helping out Clay Wong for the Skyline project, so there's Skyline parts. I've been helping out Rex H for his Falcon project. So there's some Falcon stuff on the site, and Logan from Logan's Speed Shop. He's got some RX-7 stuff, and also the guys from Full Boost with their MR2 project. So I've been helping everyone out get parts. Those things aren't really listed on the website because it's not my main core audience, which is you guys, which are all Honda boys. You're here to see this thing. So if you want anything, I can get it for you. That's why I started spoolup.com.au. I'd rather help you guys with your builds. And then if you want to support me and support the channel, you can buy stuff through the channel. Stickers, yes. We want to launch into some hats and shirts and hoodies eventually, but mainly car parts because you can actually use those on your cars. So that's enough of that. Check out spoolup.com.au. We've got the Spool Up stickers. There's about 5 or 6 different kinds. There's keychains. If you just want to get something small to support the builds and the channel, do that. But otherwise, back to your regular content. Here we go with some brake stuff. Okay, so removing the rear hubs, really, really simple. Smack off this cap, which goes in there. And then inside here is a 32mm nut. Look at how perfectly preserved this was. And inside there was not a speck of dirt or dust or anything. This is sealed since 1999 in the Honda. Once that's been taken off, it's just a matter of sliding that off. And look at that, beautiful. Bit of grease and grime in the back, but that's just to be expected with 23 years or 24 years of brake dust. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up, and then I'm gonna stick on the new hub. I'll show you that in a sec. Old hub is popped off. We have the honed low profile nut and washer kit. Just sit that aside for the moment. You can see the difference compared to the factory one. And we take these DC5 rear hubs. I've taken off the ABS ring, and these are from Bearing Wholesalers, and they just go straight on like that. Take this guy, slide him straight over there, and then this one on. Torque that down to 181 Newton meters as per the instructions on the Honed Developments website. And I'm just gonna do that now because I do need 2 of these. And I'm just gonna borrow Rhonda's other disc rotor from the other side, put that on. Boom, you can put in the little screws. Just nip these up because I'm gonna be changing them in a couple of days anyway when my parts come in from PROTEX. There we go, I'll tighten that up with 2 hands in a minute. But we've got that on now. Let me show you what I did to the caliper to make that work. So this is the left-hand side caliper that's going on the right-hand side of the Civic. And all I really had to do was take my grinder with the flap disc on it and just grind away just this edge here because it fouls on the control arm. So I've also changed over the Enkei Civic handbrake lever adjusters. So they're there, swap those over so that we can still use the same exact type of cable. And then because the handbrake is now in a different spot, I'm gonna run left-hand side on the right-hand side, and that just moves the cable into the right spot. And I've had to drill out the hole because a D-shaped hole and the Civic has a actual circle hole. So I've just ran the stepper drill through there. That's gonna go straight back onto there like so. And we can run the factory handbrake setup just like on the other side. So here's the finished product. I'm actually running the DC5 rear brake calipers. They're actually the same as the FN2 as well. So same calipers, a bit more easily available at the wreckers if you get those. And the disc rotor is the PROTEX coated rotors, no slots or anything in there. We don't need those. And we've got PROTEX Ultra Plus pads in the back. They're the same ones we use in Ronda the race car. Never had a drama with and outbrakes everyone else on the track. Now these rotors are a 260mm rear rotor, so they're bigger than most front brakes on most Civics for the rear, and it's actually the same as a CL9, so a lot of stopping power for much heavier cars. Same with the brake pads, and you'll note I've gone for the signature custom fluoro yellow neon, which matches my engine bay. While we're in here, I decided that I would upgrade to some rear camber arms. I got these from Elusive Racing. These are the rubber bushed hard race adjustable rear camber arms. Now that I've done those and they look so nice, I'm thinking I should do the front toe arm, which is up under there as well. These are the old bushes, and you can see in here, they are quite crusty and clapped out. And just, yeah, really crap. They're about to rip and tear through all the way, both sides, in the bin. So it was time to put new ones in. Again, I always mention this is the best tip I've ever learned from my suspension buddy Stig, is always push the wheels up either with a jack or your axle up with a jack before you tighten anything down, because it will prevent ripping the bushes. Once you tighten the bolts in and it pinches the bush tight, any twisting on the chassis will actually rip your bushes out. So the only time you don't need to do that is if you have spherical bushes, because they will still turn. But anything with rubber bushes, which are recommended for the street, you should always tighten up everything with the car under load. One other thing to note is when you're using the integral calipers, you have to do everything upside down and backwards. This is the left one, it's on the right hand side. To bleed them, you just disconnect the handbrake, dangle it down so it's upside down, and then bleed the brakes that way. To do this properly, what I did was get a piece of wood and a clamp that in there, which is 40mm thick, which is the same distance as the pads, including the rotor, so 15mm and a 10mm rotor. Clamp that in. That way when my missus is in the car pumping the brakes, it doesn't push the piston all the way out. You'll also have to undo this 17mm nut on the top, pull the spring out, and swap over your handbrake hangers, these little forks here. And you'll have to use the FN2 or DC2 loop and drill that out so that it can accept the handbrake cable. Otherwise, pretty straightforward job. Now, before we get onto the front brakes, I did mention we had a ton of failures over the last 2 weeks, which is why I haven't uploaded a video. The first one being I actually wanted to switch out my wheels to a 17, and I bought some FD2 wheels, which are these dual spoke or 7-spoke with the split design 17-inch wheels. And of course I use the Zestino Greggio 7Rs, which is a new channel supporter. These are a 17x7 plus 45, and they're an Enkei wheel, which is a Honda OE wheel. And I thought that would be fantastic on the car, because I was told from a few tire shops that I couldn't get good sized rubber that was sticky, semi-slick for a 16-inch wheel. So I thought, well, may as well go 5-stud, change everything over, sell my old wheels, buy the hubs, buy the brakes, do the whole thing, upgrade, and then I fitted the 17s, lifted the car up about 1.5 inches, and everything's still scrubbed. It sat like a 4-wheel drive. There was like a foot of air gap between here because I wasn't going to get some tiny little skinny rubbers. I got the big meats because I wanted grip at the track. Fail. Cost me well over $1,000 exercise just to get the wheels and tires. But I happened to sell those to the guys who's on the team for Ronda. So those wheels will be going on Ronda. So it wasn't a waste. We kept them. They're going to a good home, which is me. Then I was going to run my DC2R wheels, which I've had up on the shelf for quite a while. And when I ordered tires, I found out, hey, I can get 16s. Excellent. Let's get that cracking. It's what I had before. I didn't want to go too small or too big. Googled DC2R factory wheels. Google tells me they're a 16x7. So I ordered the tires, pulled them down off the shelf, went to get the tires fitted up, and they're a 15x6.5, which is the Aussie spec. For some reason, we got ripped off 1 inch here. So sell those, buy some new wheels. You guys are gonna love what I've come up with. This was a total fluke. I was actually looking for a similar wheel, but I had no idea of brand, budget, or anything like that. And I didn't want to get just RPF 01s like most people with Hondas have. But before we get to the big wheel reveal, check out the front brakes. Now, these are actually the calipers that I had on the car before. They were red. I've painted them in my signature fluoro yellow, and we've upgraded to the DC2R front brake rotor, which is 5-stud. And of course, we've got the 5-stud hubs, bearings, and everything on there. Brand new ball joint again, which I only just did a couple of months prior. And this time, for now, we're running the Intima SR pads that I got from Elusive Racing. You'll see their sign up there. They're just around the corner. And these pads I've only driven them for maybe 500 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers. So rather than chuck them out and put the PROTEX in, I'm gonna keep running those. They go up to 600 degrees Celsius, so they should be fine for the track for now, but I will upgrade to the new PROTEX Ultras soon when these wear out. Now, because I went to the effort of doing all of this sort of stuff on the car, put new brakes on, painting them, new pads, rotors, bearings, everything's all been changed. When I then went to bleed the brakes on the car, luckily I did this, and luckily I didn't stick with my old 16s and just get some new tires for those, because I learned that my master cylinder was leaking. So you'd pump the brakes, it'd be fine, and then the third time you push them, it'd just go straight to the floor, no brakes. So dodgy master cylinder. And of course, with the brake booster delete kit, you actually need a 7/8 master, which gives you a nice firm high pedal for maximum stopping performance. You could use your factory ones, but you'd have a much lower pedal, so you got to push the pedal further to make the brakes work. And do you think I could find a replacement 7/8 master? But luckily for me, the guys at Holden were just around the corner and they have them in stock. So I managed to get a refurbished one from them, switch that over. It wasn't too much of an issue. Now, you guys will probably be familiar with Holden developments. You see them on Gears and Gasoline. You see them on many other track racing, performance-based Honda channels, and they are just world-class, fully designed by engineers that have all the experience. They test the cars. They have the same cars that they're testing these products on and built them for themselves to go fast, so you know they're good. They're actually just around the corner from me, and I was lucky that I happened to bump into Grant a couple of years ago at the racetrack, and we've since become good friends, so that's really handy. I was able to go get a hookup on a Saturday. But one other thing which we've got from Ronda, which is awesome, is Holden actually make some air guides, which are these bad boys here, for scooping air up into your brakes. Now, these are for Ronda. They don't actually make a kit yet for the CL9, but we're gonna make some adapters and get that on in a later video. And I'll probably end up getting a set for my car, which they do make for the Enkei. Let's to help with my braking. Now we've got a lot of power from my K series. We need the stopping power, which I'm confident we do have now for short 15-minute track sessions. But if I'm doing anything more serious, I'll need some ducting to these brakes. All right, the moment you guys have all been waiting for is the wheels. Before we get to the wheels, let's talk about the tires. So we're using Zestinos. These are a 205/45/16 with an 83 wear rating. These are very soft. You can stick your fingernail into them and it's got like memory foam. That's how sticky they are. These are the wheels. They're an Enkei. They are 7 inches wide plus 40. And these are called SC46. Now, I haven't seen a lot of people running these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spoke. 5 stud Enkei tuning wheels. They're actually very, very light without the tires, so just really high quality. I'm gonna throw these on so you can see what it looks like. And then we've got the fluoro brakes behind. The gunmetal finish, I think, is primo touch. And we've also gone over to the white line open-ended wheel nuts. So we're running those. Now we had to buy new wheel nuts because we're going 5 stud. So let's get all that on, get it on the ground, get it outside and see what it looks like so I can show you guys and unveil the new look for my Civic. Alrighty, so this is the new look unveiled. I had to come down to my local IKEA car park because my luck, it got dark. So here we are. I think that looks really tough with the new look. The brakes look amazing and so do the wheels. Sits just right, maybe could go up a little bit higher, but I've got plenty of sump clearance, plenty of ground clearance. I actually dialed in the front camber just slightly more now that I've got some more grip and I'll be going to the track. And same with the rear, I gave it a little bit more than it normally has. So it's just tucking in just a little bit. But let me know what you think in the comments about this new look Civic. I'm gonna get a couple of photos. And then next week it's off to its first ever wheel alignment. Can you believe I've owned this car 3 years and never had a wheel alignment? Also, I'm not gonna do any crazy driving and do a tire review or a tire test just yet because I don't actually have the hub rings that go around the wheels and the hubs to stop any vibration. So they're on there, they're on the center and they're tightened, but I'm not confident in absolutely caning the car without those hub rings in there. So for now, just cruising around. Don't forget, head over to the website, grab yourself some merch or some car parts. The rear brakes, the front brakes, the brake pads, all this sort of stuff will be available on spoolup.com.au. Next for this car is wheel alignment, new bonnet. I'm thinking about cutting out around the K series and putting the bonnet back down so that just the top of the K sits out of the bonnet. I think that'll look sick. And that's really it for this video. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, spool up, bring the boost, and we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you love my new wheels, tires, brakes, camber arms, and the 5 stud conversion as much as I do. I think that looks absolutely sweet.
Make it rain, make it pour. In my house, don't need no tour. It's just me and the fam. 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 Yeah, yeah. It's just me and the fam.